government necessarily requires a person to have internal conflicts and contradictions. Basically, to believe in government requires a person to be a little bit insane and delusional and out of touch with reality. I'm going to use an example about how social media platforms often have a policy of having a rule against the advocacy of violence, which, okay, fair enough. You're allowed to do that. In fact, on your own platform, you're allowed to advocate whatever rules you want, whether I think they're stupid or not. So I'm not taking issue with the rule. I'm taking issue with the fact that the people who make those rules are always lying and don't even notice. They're always completely delusional and out of touch with reality, but they can't see that. So imagine a scenario in which some woman is home alone late at night and some big scary guy breaks in at 2 a.m. With the intention of kidnapping her, brutally attacks her and kidnaps her. Now, that's violence. That's bad. Advocating that is bad. I hope I didn't really need to explain that to any of you. And so having a policy that says, hey, if anybody says that's okay, we don't want you saying that on our platform. Okay, cool. Yeah, I wouldn't either. That's messed up. Now, suppose somebody is discussing a scenario like that and somebody says, in that case, I think the woman should defend herself. Like hit him with a chair, or better yet, have a gun and shoot the psycho to stop him from kidnapping you and attacking you. Now, that is advocating the use of physical force. And we can do semantic nitpicking about whether that counts as violence or whether violence is from the root to violate, so the word violence should only be used to describe immoral force, not justified defensive force. So that's a semantics thing, but I'm going to skip that. Either way, violent conflict is being talked about. Now, if somebody said, yeah, I hope the woman defends herself by any means necessary, most people will go, well, that's good. Yeah, duh. Obviously, I hope so too. And most of these platforms will say, yeah, well, that doesn't count as advocating violence. You're talking about somebody defending themselves from an attacker. So that's fine. You won't get banned for that. Good. Cool. So far, so good. What if the aggressor in this scenario happens to be employed as a law enforcer? He has a badge and a uniform. He's not wearing it right now. He's not on duty, but that's his job. Does that change the morality of it? And most people go, well, no, you're still not allowed to just randomly attack and kidnap people. Okay, so we're still okay with talking about the woman having a right to forcibly defend herself? Like, that isn't violence. She's not the bad guy. Like, once violence is happening, to oppose her being able to do that or being able to talk about that, that is pro-violence. Because once a violent attack is happening, it's not a question of whether there's going to be violence or not. Like, there is. It's too late for that. The only question is, which force is going to win out? Is it the immoral, aggressive force of the attacker or the righteous, defensive force of the intended victim or somebody else helping them out and trying to save them? So once there is an attacker, it's too late for nonviolence. Like, violence is going to happen. The only question is, who's going to win it? The good guys or the bad guys, and the bad guys are the attacker. Okay, so that's still pretty clear, and most people say, yeah, if he has a badge, like, and happens to have that job, that doesn't change morality. Okay, what if he has that badge and that uniform and he's on duty? And people start to get a little bit uncomfortable, but they'd still say, well, he doesn't have the right to just attack somebody. I mean, is he like legally arresting her or doing a search warrant or something? We'll get to that in a minute. But so far, people would still be on the side of, well, if you're an on-duty cop and you're just randomly breaking into someone's house and attacking them, that's still pretty bad. And people might hesitate a little bit, but we still have to acknowledge that the person has the right to defend themselves with, whatever force necessary to stop the attack. Okay, that's fine. Good, I agree. Would you get banned for advocating violence? If you say, I hope the woman defends herself by any means necessary from this psycho attacker, would you get banned if the guy happens to be a cop and happens to be an on-duty cop? Probably not. What if you take that exact same scenario, exactly what I described, and the only difference is that a few years earlier, a few politicians, thousands of miles away that don't know either of these people, passed a law that said if you're in possession of a certain plant or a mushroom or a substance or something or other that they've outlawed, then we hereby authorize our enforcers to kick down your door in the middle of the night and point a gun at you and kidnap you to drag you away and put you in a cage. So the act didn't change at all. But some politicians said, yeah, we want that to happen. We want that violent aggression against a person who didn't threaten or harm anyone. We want that to happen. Now what happens to the morality? Oh, well, now right is wrong and wrong is right because politicians scribbled some stuff in their weird pseudo-religious cult rituals, and now it's the law. Okay, now are we allowed to talk about the woman having the right to forcibly defend against the violent big thug kidnapper guy? Certainly not. He's just doing his job and enforcing the law. No, the act didn't change at all. The act is still immoral. He's still the aggressor. He's still the attacker. He's still the one doing the wrong thing. It's already violence. And this is the part that makes statists delusional.